Becoming a professional baker is the fulfillment of Brinit Akwe's childhood dream. Now the manager of a small pastry shop, every day Brinit practices the job she has always dreamed of since childhood. Several years after her parents paid her a training in pastry, she created a small bakery in the city of Porto Novo. For 20 years now, this activity has been the main source of income for this mother. In 2013, Brinit introduced a new technology in her pastry cooking, which was little known to her customers. That is the combination of maize flour called gambarin lifin in Benin and wheat flour in the preparation of pastry products.
Quand j'étais encore enfant aux côtés de mes parents, j'avais un désir pour la pâtisserie, pour la cuisine.
Already when I was a little girl living with my parents, I was fascinated by pastry and cuisine. To help me realize this dream, my parents decided to send me to the Polytechnic school. After 3 years of training, I got the vocational qualification in pastry cooking. After I left school, I opened a bakery unit with the support of my parents. Since 1992, I have always made cakes, puff pastry, and cakes with 100% wheat flour.
Je faisais toujours les gâteaux, les cakes et les fruits. Ce n'est qu'en 2013, à la découverte du PPAO.
It was not until 2013, during the WAP meeting, that I began to mix gambarin leaf-in flour and wheat flour to make my cakes. WAP sent us to Senegal for a study trip to learn about how to use the mixed maize and wheat flour in pastry making. Since returning from Senegal, I've been mixing 50% maize flour and 50% wheat flour to make my cakes, croissants, and puff pastry.
Gâteaux et des croissants.
Introducing maize flour in pastry offers tremendous advantages. The first advantage is the reduction of production costs. 1 kilogram of maize flour that she uses to make her cakes sell 400 francs, that is to say 100 less than wheat flour, which costs 500 francs. By using 50% maize flour and 50% wheat flour to make her cakes and other products, Brinit has made sizable savings, which is very significant to her.
Si on fait les gâteaux avec 50% de farine de blé et 50%.
By mixing 50% gambarin leaf-in flour and 50% wheat flour, I have realized that the crust of my product is more and more golden and attractive to customers. So many people buy my products. If we mix 50% maize flour and 50% wheat flour, we can produce more cakes. You can produce between 35 to 40 cakes per kilo compared to 25 to 30 cakes per kilo at the time I used 100% wheat flour. I sell more and therefore I make more money.
Et on réalise beaucoup de recettes.
The combination of maize and wheat flour in pastry making is not only profitable for pastry maker, but also according to nutritionalists, this technology has many benefits for consumers because composite bread contains less sugar than cakes that are mainly made with wheat flour.
Lorsqu'on l'incorpore en pâtisserie, on a constaté.
When introduced in baking, we have realized that maize flour has brought about a significant reduction of the quantity of sugar content. And that is very interesting from a nutritional standpoint. As a nutritionist, I often recommend consumers to reduce sugar intake, especially white sugar. So this technology is good because it helps to reduce sugar content during the preparation. I must also point out in the baking of bread and pastry cooking, there is a variety of maize which increases the glycemic index while others decrease it. So we are conducting research to see what are the varieties that reduce the glycemic index and which could be used to prepare this type of product.
Qui pourrait être utilisé pour ce type de farine.
These types of cakes can be easily made by all those who so desire. For example, to prepare the cake, Brinit mixes 50% of wheat flour and 50% of maize flour. And for the croissants, the pastry maker uses 15% maize flour and 85% wheat flour. To make a composite cake, Brinit uses 500 grams of maize flour and 500 grams of wheat flour. She adds a small amount of sugar to this amount. Then she prepares eggs, making sure she separates the yolk and egg white. Concerning marketing, her products have won the hearts of consumers of the city of Porto Novo. The scramble of vendors at her home is telling of the increasing demand for these products.
Cette activité a des retombées sur ma vie.
This activity has a positive impact on my life. I can pay the school fees for my children. I can buy myself baking equipment. I can hire people if orders reach 1,000 or 2,000 loaves. I work with 2 permanent staffs. But if I have more orders, I hire up to 10 people or 15 people for catering services during seminars.
Mais si j'ai assez de commandes, j'engage jusqu'à 10 personnes et 15 personnes pour des séminaires.
Consumers particularly appreciate these products. Whether in Benin or Senegal, where the technology was first launched in West Africa, the incorporation of local grains flour has been welcomed by consumers. The combination of maize flour in making bread and pastry has become a profit-yielding niche for bakers and pastry chefs in many West African countries.
D'autres même lancent des commandes. Lancent des commandes à partir de ça que nous voulons cette qualité de...
Other people are placing their orders, saying they want this quality of cakes or pastries. Actually, it's after this Dakar experience that our director, Mrs. Bennett, felt the need to innovate compared to what she was doing. Thus, the cakes have changed with the incorporation of maize flour. The quality of croissants also changed. As for the cooking, when it comes out, it's milder and people really appreciate so much so that some are placing their orders ahead of time. We get a lot of orders. We believe it's necessary to improve this. We must continue to raise awareness that everyone can join the process and upgrade our local grains.
En marche et puisse revaloriser nos céréales.
Actually, to tell the truth, I'm really satisfied with this. Yes, I like it. It's good.
The success of these products among consumers opens up many business and job opportunities for Beninese young people.
I'm Akwe Lazarien and I am a student at the Higher Institute of Management, ESM Adonai, in Business Law, and I'm graduating to the 2nd year. Besides, I'm involved in Pastry with my mom. I'd like to have a job and I know it's not easy. It's good to be a jack of all trades in order to earn one's life. Cooking the cakes takes 1 hour maximum, so I have some time to help her before I go to school.
As part of the West Africa Agricultural Productivity Program of the Corps of WECART, the Western Central African Council for Agricultural Research and Development, the National Center of Specialization of Benin strongly supported the introduction of maize flour in pastry. The institute, which received support from the IDB, the Islamic Development Bank, to develop and promote this technology, now views this initiative as a way to create jobs for young people. To this end, the NCOS of Benin imported this technology from Senegal and developed documentation to facilitate its use in the country.
Donc le CNS Maïs a organisé une séance de travail.
The NCOS of Benin held a working session that brought together both researchers who developed the technology and bakers and pastry chefs who tested it and some people who had tasted these products then. So they gathered somewhere and we were able to document the process from the beginning and everything achieved and to identify the challenges and benefits. The work was conducted by the NCOS of Benin and the result will serve all the stakeholders using this document as they will be able to easily use this technology.
There is a wide range of possible uses of maize flour in Benin. It is possible to enrich the flour, to use it in baking and pastry, but also in animal feed production. So all these activities are attractive to many young people who seek to launch their small businesses in order to earn money.
L'appel, ce n'est pas plutôt aux jeunes, c'est d'abord à nous-mêmes.
I'm appealing to the youths and to ourselves first. I call on us as stakeholders to make these technologies known to others, to the whole population. Let them know that there are 3 technologies in this package. The production of bread flour is an activity that can generate revenues. Then bread making with that flour is one of the technologies developed, and pastry cooking, which is the third technology. We must take up the challenge of popularizing the technology, promoting it as much as possible, making it known and creating demand. Once demand is triggered, I am confident that the rest will follow naturally. And to the young people in general, I would urge them to support us as soon as demand is created and that the technology is known. The future is bright for these technologies, out of which one can make a lot of money. And I know we can make a living out of that.
In Benin, maize flour is a widely consumed product. During major ceremonies, it is served as a noble meal. The preparation of maize flour meals occupies many women today in the country. The expansion of its use in the production of bread and pastry helps to create new opportunities for farmers, youth, and women. In the long run, the entire country could also reap the dividends of the massive use of this technology. In fact, as the incorporation of maize flour in baking and pastry gains ground, Benin is likely to reduce its wheat import bill and decrease the outflow of foreign currency.